Good morning, Myrna and Suzanne. How are you
Good
guys
morning.
today?
Good morning. It's great to be here.
All
Same
right, turning
here.
this mic over to you.
Hi, this is Susan Michel. I am here in Western Massachusetts with my good friend Myrna Scholar in Florida. How are you doing today, Myrna?
Very well. Very well. Even though it's raining, the weather is inclement. It's been that way for quite a while down here in Florida, hot and rainy, but at least the lawns look very good because of all the rain. You have to find the positive in everything, right?
Yeah, the weather is pretty funky. We've had a lot of rain here too. Actually, yesterday we had a storm. Today is sunny and hot. When I went for my morning run, there was a tree down that was blocking my trail that I usually run on. So I had to drive around to a different entrance of the reservoir. And it was interesting because that even started the day off with a lesson. I'm thinking it's so interesting going to the exact same track, coming in a different entrance. I kind of had a different perspective. And it really looked especially lovely this morning, coming in with a different perspective. And isn't that what A Course in Miracles is all about? Just shifting our perception, from one that has anything to do with fear to one that is coming from a place of love. This is what we are always striving to do. And it's always possible. We just have to remind ourselves that we're part of God. Today's lesson, maybe I'm going to jump right in, since that is what I'd like to base the premise of today's talk on, because it's such a great lesson. I mean, they all are, aren't they? But we're on lesson 209 here in the workbook lesson for students. And all of these review lessons start out, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me, which is such an important concept. Even as a Course in Miracles student for 33 years, it is a hard one because I have my body insecurities, like my tooth is out and my surgery got delayed. So I'm going to have to live with it for another 6 weeks. But I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And the lesson today, which is a review of lesson 189, is I feel the love of God within me now. I mean, when you can really embody that, I mean, we shift to a place of peace. When you can really, it's one thing, it's funny because my husband, not to throw him under the bus, but he used this, he said to me, and he's such a wonderful, beautiful man, and he's a Course in Miracles student. We were talking and praying, and he talked about believing in God. And I feel like believing in God is not enough. It's to feel the presence of God, to feel the love of God. That's how the transformation takes place within us. Don't you agree, Myrna?
That's why today's lesson is really a very significant one. As you say, they all are. And each one individually tells us something that can really give us peace if we just adhere to the lesson, or even the title of the lesson. And today's I feel the love of God within me now. So it tells me that the love of God is always available to us. It's there. If it's in me now, it has to be in me always. So if we know that the love of God is always available to us, then we can rest assured that there's nothing really to worry about or to stress about. Everything works out, especially when we put ourselves into that God realm where we know that we're really not lacking in any way whatsoever. yeah, of course, the ego will jump in at any given time and give us its own scenario about how, we have to worry about this, we have to do that, we have to get here, we have to do this, that, the other thing. You just said your surgery was delayed, and that probably triggered a little something. I know that you were anxious for it, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because as long as we know that the love of God is always within us, what more can we ask for? And by knowing that, it puts us in a place of relaxation, place of peace. We're all striving for peace. Everybody wants to feel peaceful, but as one of the prior lessons just recently pointed out, that to say these words, to say that I want to feel peace is one thing, but to truly feel the peace of God is something else. If you truly want that, well, we all want it. It's not a matter of not wanting it. It's a matter of connecting to it. And if we feel the peace of God within us at any given time, then we know that we're on our way home, with a capital H, home. Home is to be in the Christ mind, to be in the part of us that really belongs in the mind of God, because we were created from God. We are made of love. We're full of light and love. And that's what this course keeps reminding us of. So that's how I feel. That's what's coming to me about this lesson now.
That's very clear, very, very clear, Myrna. I agree with every single word you just said. When we are connected to God, we feel peaceful. And if there is fear in any way in our mind, it's blocking our connection to God. That's what A Course in Miracles tells us time and time again. I mean, for me, when I feel fear, there's different rituals that I can do for myself, different positive self-care courses of treatment I can do to release that fear, to release the ego. It's for me, it's about prayer. It's about meditation. It's about, you said last time we spoke that you started off every day with a positive affirmation. Today is going to be a great day. Dear God, I give this day to you. I think running actually for me is one way for me to center myself. But I think when I hear the words of A Course in Miracles enough, they just really start to penetrate who I am, and I really start to grasp them. Again, today on the run, I felt like I entered the reservoir from a different entrance, and I felt like I had a different perception of the reservoir, and it was a beautiful one. And I was really focusing on gratitude. I was really focusing on being connected to everyone I came across. There wasn't many people there this morning because, like I said, one of the main entrances was blocked because a tree had fallen, I think, in the storm we had last night. So there were few people there, but the people that were there, a lot of them I knew, because the reservoir has a group of regulars. And I greeted them, and I spoke to one of the regular people for the first time, and I felt connected to them, because I think there is just this way we can tap into being fully present with what we're doing. And it's a really beautiful place to tap into. And I was also listening to A Course in Miracles on Audible prior to the call, and Jesus was talking about miracle-mindedness, miracle-minded readiness. And what he said in the section of the Course in Miracles that I was listening to, he said, don't worry about your own readiness. So because I feel like I get so much fulfillment from extending God's miracles, because I know what it feels like to extend God's love to someone else. And it's true. I don't have to worry that I'm not good enough to do it. I just have to trust that God will work through me at the right time. Course in Miracles says, don't worry about your own readiness. So it's a matter of totally trusting God, trusting that God is gonna guide us and direct us whenever we surrender our will with a small w to his will with a capital W. And it's so beautiful when we allow that to happen. And I think whenever we are coming from a place of love, that's the miracle. Because the Course in Miracles says that anything that originates from a state of love, from a place of love, that's what allows the miracle to occur. And again, a miracle is a shift in perception, and it's available to us at each and every moment. And we don't have to worry that we're good enough or that we're ready. The only thing we have to do is we have to let go and trust that God will work through us when we allow us. It also said in the Course in Miracles, it's interesting, I'm recollecting everything I was listening to now, that God needs us as much as we need him. I always feel like, oh, I need God so much. I need God so much. How can I connect to him to the greatest extent? And I don't have to try so hard. Because I think when we try too hard, we actually block what we want, because trying is different than trusting. When we try, we force, right? When we try, we work hard, we struggle, we try to force it. But when we trust, we just let go and we allow our life to come together organically. There's a big difference between trying and trusting. So there's different principles, I think, that can help us tap into that energy of love that we all crave so deeply. Right?
Yes, Susan. I like what you said. A miracle-minded readiness. It's funny you said that, because even before we tuned into this talk, I was looking at my book, Private Lessons with Jesus from A Course in Miracles, and this is the year that I took to confer with Jesus about the lessons. That's really what the intent was. And one of the things I remember asking was when I started each lesson each morning at a certain time, but sometimes I felt as if I was being triggered, as you use that term. I like that, triggered by something that made me feel inept, made me feel unqualified, made me feel that I wasn't ready to do the day's lesson. And I sat down and I asked Jesus about that. I said, Jesus, is now a good time for me to come to the computer and talk to you? I'm so, I'm agitated over a specific something, whatever it was. And the answer that I got so clearly, was, you can come to me, you can come to God at any time at all, no matter how you're feeling. It doesn't matter. The light in you is there. It's there to be seen, to be felt. You may not be feeling it right now, but it's there. Rest assured that it's always there, and that you can rely on that more than anything. And with that, I was able to, not, like you said, I didn't have to push or try or feel that I had to reach a certain level of comfort within my own mind. I knew that any time would be fine, and the calmness really took over in feeling the truth of that, and knowing that of course that's the case. Why would the answer come to me? No, come back later. You're not ready for this right right now. I mean, of course, that would not be the answer. So, but feeling the truth of that is what set the pace for me for that particular day. And we can do that at any time if we're feeling upset,